always be who you are. There are times you'd like to have someone who might make you a lot of money, but for whatever reason, the fit isn't right. And so don't take on what you shouldn't take on.
All right, y'all, welcome back to another episode of Leads to Growth with the National Association of Sales Professionals. Very excited to have a gem with us today. We almost got caught up in our own conversation, forgot to even hit record. We were having so much fun. Today's guest is William Bill Gammon. I always call him Cannon. I don't know why. He's a firecracker, but William Bill Gammon, the owner and founder of Gammon Associates. He's an accomplished and senior executive, advisor, author, and mentor coach, thought leader with over 50 years of experience and a heart that just wants to give back and add value. And as we know, those who lead with value are just the treasures in the world and have all the gifts coming to them as well. Bill, thank you so much for being on the show, sir.
My pleasure, Chris. It's great
friend.
to be here with you.
Absolutely. So for you don't know, Bill's won all the awards for advising and being a executive. He's won success awards from 2012 to 2015. He's not only reached the tops of success as a business leader, but then he's done the same thing as a business advisor, advised top executives all over from the airline industries to the insurance, was vice president of Ameriprise Financial Services and won their top award 3 years in a row. The guy's just done it all. And the best part is now he wants to give it all back. And I really love that about our conversation, Bill. Bill, first off, tell me a little bit about what got you to this place of still having some gas in the tank and wanting to, and having a purpose drive you still, and still wanting to give back and do more, even though you've accomplished so much.
Well, it's my journey, but everyone's journey gets them from wherever they started to wherever they are. And so I'm going to share some of this with you and tell you how I went beyond even my own dreams because I had the advantage of a lot of good coaches along the way. And it started when I was really still in high school. After my junior year of high school, after my sophomore year of high school, I had communications with my father, and he asked me to come spend my junior year of high school with him in the Philippine Islands.
Ooh.
And at the time, I lived in a little town called Danville, Virginia. You may be familiar with it.
I've heard of Danville, Virginia. Yes, sir.
Never been outside the state. So went up to Baltimore, got on a United Airlines jet from Baltimore to San Francisco. Spent a week there with my stepmother and stepbrother and sister and my sister. And then we got on a Pan Am Strato cruiser with the four engine beaters to go from there to Wake, Guam, Honolulu, and on to Manila. And spent a year there. And while I was there, I went to the American school, but I played chess with a young man named Manolito Diaz.
Well, real quick, Bill, just to FYI, I've spent about a year almost total in the Philippines as well. I did about 3 months, and I went back for a month at a time, almost 6 or 7 times. I love the Philippines. So
nice place, nice people.
Absolutely. All right, so go ahead.
He and I played chess almost every day, but he used to beat me unmercifully. His father and grandfather were both grandmasters of chess.
Oh, wow.
And so those failures taught me that keep going. When I came back my senior year, I could take on the senior chess class all at one time and not lose a match. And so I learned the value of a coach from a friend. And along my life's journey, I've had many coaches. Zig Ziglar, Norman Vincent Peale,
Oh, the doctor, the power of positive thinking. That's one of the
Absolutely.
OGs. Yeah.
I was living in Pensacola, Florida at the time and working at Naval Air Station at the airline office.
That's a book that lit me up. That one's the one of those ones that kind of opened the key for me.
Yeah, well, I met the man in person and
Wow,
got to
man. That
spend
is,
some time with him at various times after that. But
tell me how you met him. Sorry, Bill, I interrupted you. Tell me how you met him.
he brought the uh, church that I was going to, the First Baptist Church in Pensacola, Florida, the Church of the Year Award.
Oh, wow.
And in
Yeah.
presenting it in his sermon, he said this: "Thank God for the bottom, because there's nowhere to go but up."
Mm.
Not only has that had an effect on me, but I've been able to share that with a lot of other people to get them out of a place that none of us like to be. I call it the south side of the hope line. If you were to draw a line across the middle of a page and put hope on that line, if you're on the north side of that line, you're spiraling up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're on the south side, you're going the other way.
Spiraling down. It's the same magnetic pole, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
And the people on the south side need some of us on the north side to throw them a lifesaver.
Absolutely.
And to help them get first above the hope line,
mm-hmm.
where they can then go up.
I love it.
Sometimes that alone allows people to cut the rope to the anchor that's holding them from going on down the river of life and accomplishing the things they can.
I agree. It's we often, it's the language. This is what I love about Bill is it's all principle. The language changes where you go, right? I think we talk about the law of focus, where you focus on, you find. If you focus on positive things, where places you want to go, you move in that direction. If you focus on the other direction, you move in that direction. It's the same as the spiral, and giving people the opportunity to be a victor over their situation as opposed to a victim. And sometimes it takes a mentor and a coach to help you see that perspective, somebody that you can put your certainty in, you can get your certainty from sometimes, and they can help you see that perspective. Why? Because they've been down this path before. And you bring that to a lot of people, Bill.
Well, a lot of people brought things like that to me along the way. Mm-hmm. And we learn from others. My wife runs a business called Home Play School. And in our home, we have 8 1 to 4-year-olds every day. We're sort of the petri dish for her whole organization. And as these little kids come in every day, they learn from one another as well as from the teachers. And they soak up things. And so as I'm having breakfast and looking at them coming in and stuff like this, they call me Gammon. My wife has some of the older ones come up to my office and let me know when lunch is ready. Gammon, lunch is ready in a minute or in 5 minutes or whatever. And you can see them grow. And some of the kids that have gone through that are now doctors or PhDs and educators and a lot of other things. But along the way, all kinds of bits and pieces from people like my wife or you or me and folks like us become a part of what gives them the strength to go from where they are to the next step or to the next, and gives them something to look back on or a starting point to move up from. And what I have found is, regardless of where someone is in life, we all want to improve it for ourselves and our families. And the best way to do that and to do it quicker is to seek help and a coach and someone that's been there before. So when you get to the next intersection, you don't just take it like Yogi. You take the right turn instead of the other turn.
I love that, Bill. All right, Bill. So this is exactly almost like your life and career, right? We talk about all the philosophies and stuff, but then these things actually go and they transfer from generation to generation. So as we talk about these principles that you bring back to people, what are some pieces of advice or direction that you give people to really find their purpose? It takes a lot to move through these, when you get to the bottom, you got to have some incentive to get to the top. We just hosted a big event with YPO organization, and we're talking about educating their kids, and their kids are wealthy kids. These are wealthy, privileged, opportune kids. They don't have a lot of leverage to make big change. But when we coach and advise kids who are in more troubled places, more urban environments, who have been through significant emotional events in their lives, poverty, homelessness, et cetera, maybe even abuse in the family, these kids have leverage to change. They have the desire. How if you're out there in sales and live in the world, how do you find your purpose out there? How do you find a way to continue to move forward and get through these challenges and become a victor as opposed to being a victim?
Well, we all have a spiritual side as well as a business side.
Mm.
And regardless of someone's faith, they all have someone that they look up to. And so whether that faith is the one that we have or the one that they have, we should respect and work inside the boundaries of it. Because all faiths seem to look to God. Some call him Buddha. Some call him Mohammed. Some call him the Lord. But regardless of what they call him or her, they have something they could grasp. That's one place. Another is, if they don't have it in their family and their community, people like you and I can reach out and step into that role for that person for as long as they need us. And so there's a lot of ways, and it just takes good planning, and hard work leads to prosperity. But hasty shortcuts lead to poverty. You know where that quote comes from?
Where's that?
Proverbs 21, verse 5.
Some good stuff in that book.
It's one of the best sales manuals ever written. Knock and the door will be open. Seeking you'll find. Asking it'll be given. Mm-hmm. And so those things are all a part of the sales process.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So all we have to do is the next right thing. Mm-hmm. And the next right thing isn't easy. And the next easy thing pretty much always isn't right.
This is true. This is true.
So
but you got to keep moving forward.
All we have to do is what is right for that person. And so in coaching, what I have found is the most success for anyone comes from letting them drive the bus, helping them clarify their goals, drill down. And when I say drill down, you know the Pareto principle, right? The 80-20 rule.
Yes, sir.
Take it to the next level.
All right.
People are going to tell us what they want to do, but then if we help them drill down to the next level, now we're taking that 20% and going 20% of that. Now we're getting on the next right thing that they really need to do to move just the next step. And here's another thing. If you look at from where they are to where they want to go, that's like an elephant. It's a large distance for a lot of people. But if you break it into little bites and you have a plan with milestones and a mentor to light your path and hold your hand and help you along the way, and celebrate those milestones as you go, when you get from point A to the first milestone, that's a victory.
Mm-hmm.
And you can celebrate that victory. And that will take you from the despair of, I still got a long way to go, and the big load, the elephant's on my back. But we just had something to celebrate.
Absolutely.
We've already come from here to here, and that's progress. And small steps end up in large journeys. The old Chinese proverb about that.
And you know, we teach this, Bill. You know, this is what we teach people: that commitment and consistency are what build habits, and habits are what deliver results. And it's those little incremental. And when you build a habit out of just doing something new and something different and optimizing every day, it becomes, you realize there is no there, and you fall in love with just the growth and optimization.
Exactly. And you feel good at night when you put your head on the pillow instead of overloaded of the things you didn't get.
Oh, yes.
Look at what you did accomplish, even in the worst day.
Absolutely. Celebrate those wins.
Celebrate all wins, because it will keep you spiraling up.
I love that. I love that, Bill. All right, Bill. So part of our conversation and the lead to this is I want to know, what are some strategies or things that you bring to the table in regards to sales process? If you were to give some advice to, we've got a lot of salespeople who are out there, right? And a lot of salespeople come to us and say, hey, they come get our certification, and they love what they learn, and they love that it teaches them to grow. But now that they have this motor that's moving them forward, this drive, this inner motivation, and this way to process things and grow, they say, all right, well, where do I go? Who's going to help me take me to the next level? And as a mentor, obviously, you're that guy a lot of times. So you're speaking to a lot of salespeople out there as they start to grow and get into sales. What are some things that they can focus on to increase their sales, to increase their leads, to increase their conversion?
Well, before they even come to me, I send them to my website.
Okay. All right. Tell me what we got.
GammonAssociates.net.
Yes, sir.
If you'd like to go to it and put it in the corner of the screen, I can walk you through something that will probably help them.
Beautiful. Tell them what they got on the website, Bill.
Because
I'll put the link in. I'll put the link in all of our podcast notes here, so y'all going to be able to check it out. Those who are watching the video, don't worry about that. We're not showing nothing. So those of you who listen, go ahead and check it out when you get a chance. If not right now, listen, Bill's going to tell you what values there on it for you. Go ahead, Bill.
The values there are, first, when anyone talks to you or me, they want to know what we can do for them, how long it's going to take, and what it's going to cost
them. This is true.
And can they trust us?
Yep, absolutely.
Because there's a lot of people out there selling snake oil.
It is the truth.
And the way to check it out is to check it out. And so I'm as transparent as the windshield on your car. And so on my website, GammonAssociates.net, you'll first see a picture of me and an opportunity for you to download a free book to call Fast Track Your Business Journey and Thrive Along the Way. In addition to that book, when you download it, you can take a 52-week course for free to show you all of the things that a small business might need to learn in order to achieve their goals. Because 80% of small businesses, when they start, they're not around 5 years from now.
Hey, this is the truth. Look, I mean, look at the S&P 500. I think decades prove half of those companies aren't even still here anymore.
And here's why. People get so involved in the glitter and the glitz of life and chasing things as they're going up, they don't look for real value. And real value stays. Perceived value doesn't always win. And some people think that The trees keep growing to the sky, but they don't. They fall. And it's a law of nature. Best described by my grandmother when she said, when you're green, you grow. And when you're ripe, you rot. So stay green, keep growing. And the best way to keep growing is to keep learning.
Absolutely.
And keep providing additional value for those that you're helping. It's simple, but some people forget the simple things that really build strong houses and strong businesses with strong foundations.
Absolutely, Bill. And I know our audience is out there listening going, this is exactly what they talk about at NASP. Exactly right. This is why I love Bill so much, is because we are so aligned. This is our philosophies and principles are exactly that. It takes commitment and consistency for this growth. It takes celebrating wins on a regular basis. And these principles are all aligned. And that's what I love. 50 years of experience in this business world. And the principles that were true on day one are still true today. Why? Because styles and trends, they come and go, but principle will always be there. Principle will always rule. And there are two kinds of knowledge, y'all. It's very important. Trust me, if you want, right? But what there are two kinds of knowledge. There are the trends and things that are going on out there right now, right? And maybe even three. There are the things that might come up in the future, these other trends, right? But then there's basic principles, psychology, and knowledge. And this social psychology, like we talked about back in the PhD or back in the interview with our Bana, our PhD, is exactly the things Bill's talking about right now. Exactly the same.
And the other thing that's true is there's an old sannyasins saying.
Sannyasa? Tell me, what's this?
An old sannyasins saying from
what's
history.
Sannyasin?
Ancient. It's an ancient group of people.
Okay,
ancient.
not familiar, evidently, yeah.
And it says this: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
I've heard the quote. And
that quote is so true in so many places. I had a minister from Florida say to me yesterday, when he first met me, he knew his prayers were answered. Now, how would that make you feel as a coach to hear that in your first deep conversation with someone?
A lot of pressure.
Well, here's the situation. God gives us challenges, but he doesn't give us ones we can't achieve. And as we equip ourselves for more, he provides more and gives more. And that's in the scriptures. And I found it to be true, because as I progressed through life and went from here to here, I was the best qualified for the next, because I kept growing and kept doing what I should do while I was growing.
Absolutely. This is what we talk about, y'all. It's principally aligned. Growth mindset. There is no there. The belief model, as you grow your belief, your new capability starts to perceive itself and grow. And even as you say in the Bible, right? He says, yeah, you want those mountains turned upside down into the oaks, lakes? I'll do it. But you got to have that faith. You got to have that mustard seed of faith, right? And that's belief. If you believe, it shall be done.
And persistence is a very strong thing.
Yes.
And it can be acquired.
That's how you grow your belief, is that persistence.
The truth is, no matter who you are very powerful. You can do what you believe. The mind is a terrific thing, but here's the difficulty we have with our own mind. We have highways in it that we've already built. And those highways are our fallbacks. And so to put in a new habit you really need a coach to help you with that habit and to keep you accountable as you're doing it so that you can first put in a little path through the grass. And then as you work on it, create a new highway that replaces the old one. And you can do that best and quicker with someone you're working with that you trust and that trusts in you and believes in you to get you there quicker.
Absolutely. This is it's so funny how beautifully aligned this is. It's almost like you're selling our programs for us as well, Bill. But listen, there are two types. Everybody learns different. Some people learn more visual, some people learn more auditory, some people learn in a kinesthetic way. Some people need a mentor in a one-on-one communication. Some people are more autonomous and like to learn on their own. Also, there are levels of growth, right? Sometimes you've gotten to a plateau where maybe you haven't been able to reach, and that personal growth process for you, or personal development process for you, has reached a level where you need the support of somebody else. Then you reach out. These aren't permanent fixtures in life, right? Figure out where you are and what you need and try things out. But the idea is that you continue to grow, because there is no there. When you fall in love with growth, when that becomes your standard, the world opens up to you. And sometimes it takes people like Bill Gammon to get in there and to be accountable, to have somebody to share a perspective that maybe you haven't thought of before. And the one thing I love about Bill is that he may come in a package that may give you some assumptions, but did you hear what he said about God's? A man from faith who is open to hear that people find their faith and strength in a God that looks what they perceive him to look like. That is a beyond this world thinker, and that's someone that we're very proud to associate with. Bill's support aligns directly with our programs and teachings. Anybody who's gone through our certifications and is looking for, a one-on-one mentor to help them take their game to the next level, Bill's definitely a guy to talk to about this. Highly recommended. And if you want to prove it out, like I said, go check out his site. He gives a lot of value. All of his value leads, money follows, right? If he puts stuff out there, content out there that he believes you will find value in, and he believes that if you find value in that you'll find an opportunity to work with him. So check out the content, check out Bill for sure. Bill, what are some, if you were to give some advice to a salesperson and a sales leader, if you were to give them a couple of tips, a couple high level, like, all right, here's 2 or 3 things that you really need to know to take your game to the next level. What do you got for us?
Well, the first one is going to sound a little unusual.
I love unusual, Bill.
Turn your clients into friends instead of your friends into clients.
Ooh, tell me more about that, Bill.
Well, it's something that was shared with me early on in my financial career 30 plus years ago. And I had left the airline industry where I was extremely successful because the airline I was working for was sold to Don Bird, People Express. And to put it bluntly, he bought the company because we had 72 arrival and departure slots at O'Hare and 37 at St. Louis, and he didn't value the people.
Wanted the slots.
Well, different people have different things that guide them. I think that the people who help us build a business are important. They made a commitment to us, they helped us, and we should take care of them.
Values.
I couldn't drink the Kool-Aid after working with them for a few months. And so I met a man in Indianapolis named Joe Massotti. He was the head of Shearson Lehman Hutton. And he told me, Bill, you can do well for your clients and for yourself and your family if you just work half the time. I said, that sounds pretty good, Joe. He says, now tell me, son, what 12 hours you want to work every day? And I said, I'll probably put in 12 and then some, Joe. So I turned out to be I joined them in Indianapolis. I'd never lived in that city before. In 6 months, I was a vice president with them. I made 300 cold calls a day back then.
300 cold calls a day. Woo, that's some dialing for dollars right there, y'all.
That's what the game was. The first time I went.
Real quick, Bill. Let me tell these people that. How did you dial the phone? Where did you pull your numbers from, and how did you dial the phone?
I got a list and I called it.
He got a list, y'all, and then he had to push the numbers in on.
No, I had to dial.
You had to do the no. So listen, y'all. He
Push
had
the
to
numbers
do the
came
whole,
later.
He had to do the whole dial of all the numbers, and he gets one number wrong, and he has to hang up and start all over again. That's some grind right there.
That
Bill.
was in addition to the calls I made to my clients. And so I moved from the bullpen to a corner office in 6 months.
They're cush now. They just sit there with a headset on playing video games.
And the next one comes in. They don't even have to push the numbers.
So good.
But doing that today is not the way to do it. I have a degree in business and marketing from the University of Iowa. But if I tried to market today with my 1979 marketing degree,
it would not
I wouldn't get off the blocks. I'd be left in the dust.
I agree. All right. So make your customers your friends, not your friends your customers. I like this.
And when you do that, you're making sure you take care of them, because we take care of our friends.
Absolutely. And this is a good one too. I hear a lot of people when they first get into sales or an industry, what do they first do? They first go to their friends to sell them. Network marketing companies, this happens all the time. But that's the short way. When you pull them in, or when they come and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" Now that's a sale. But you don't sell your friends, right? And make your friends. I really like the both sides of that coin, Bill. All right, go ahead. What do you got next for us?
Well,
Bill?
you asked for some gems, and I'm trying to pull out a couple for you.
Oh, no, they're beautiful. I'm loving them.
Another one is always be who you are. There are times you'd like to have someone who might make you a lot of money, but for whatever reason, the fit isn't right. And so don't take on what you shouldn't take on.
I love this, Bill, because we talk a lot about unique selling proposition. I get a lot of people coming to me saying, I just feel like I'm everybody else out there. I feel like I'm just another SDR or BDR or sales rep out there reaching out to people. I don't feel like I can set myself apart. And I say, this is the whole thing, the whole snowflake idea. It's you are the unique selling proposition. Like, be you, be yourself. And she said, well, yeah, but not everybody likes me. And I said, that's the point. And I think you shared a post recently on LinkedIn with a girl named Andy with just all these tattoos, and somebody had refused to pay her what they owed her for doing some work for was a graphic design or something online because of her tattoos, because it wasn't aligned. Now that post, I guarantee you so many more people start doing business with her because now they know her tattoos and they know somebody chose not to. So that polarization idea will now will bring her people that want to work with somebody who's tattooed and like them now. And that's how you attract people you work with. I love that.
And in that post, I said, it's not ink that should require you to do or not do business with anyone. It's their skills and their competencies and who they are and how they help you.
Absolutely. And as a person,
that's the truth of the matter. And I got a lot of responses to just responding to that post.
Absolutely.
Because in the world today, people have various ways that they live their lives. But it's their journey in their life, and no one else should tell them that's not right.
Mm.
If they're on the wrong road, you might help them to see that. But we all are entitled to make mistakes too. Guess what? The most successful people in the world have made a gazillion mistakes. Look at Edison.
Yeah, right. He figured out 1,000 ways not how to make a light bulb until he figured out a way to make one.
But he didn't give up along the path. because he knew that a failure is just, that's one experiment that didn't work. It's not that my life's a failure.
Absolutely.
You have to
Absolutely.
separate the two. Failure is not the end of life. It's just that one thing didn't work. Whether
Love
it's
it.
your business that failed or you that failed at whatever, there's life after failure.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Failure is not permanent, y'all. It's only permanent if you accept it to be permanent. That's it.
Unfortunately, a lot of people take it too personally,
Mm,
and those around them don't recognize it. And it happens too much that people lose their lives over things that someone could help them get beyond.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So when little things happen, big things can follow.
Mm,
And if you look at just working on all the little things, and you took just a dozen of those little things, and you increase those things just 3 to 5%, small things. Take 100 leads, and instead of getting 100, get 103. Take 20% increases and 20% conversion rates and make them 22, just 2% better. But if you take a dozen of these and you combine those, you have the power of that also. And it's not just 3 times a dozen. It's going to help you double that business in a year. And there are people like me that can help you do that and do it all the time. And that's child's play. I mean, those 3%, some of them could be 10 or 20 or 50, and in one case, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? And I love this, Bill, because what's the best way to eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Yes, sir. And listen, it's not. I love what you said earlier. You know, there's a lot of people with some flashy ideas and strategies out there, right? They're just trying to prove themselves out there. Those got 50 years of experience and can help you see another perspective. If you're at a place in your career and you need that boost and you need that perspective, or you haven't been able to do it on your own, reach out to a mentor. And if you want more than what you're getting right now, reach out to a mentor. It's the way it works. And obviously, look, these are the same principles that we teach in our company. You're out there and you're like, hey, look, I'm just starting and I'd like to get that baseline. Take the certification. This is the baseline of all the things that Bill's talking about here. So this is Bill. I love having you on. I'm gonna actually end this now, and I might actually come back to you, Bill. We might have story time with Bill sometime. You got so many great stories and people that you've worked with in the past. We might have to do something again. Bring you back on.
Happy to do it. It's a pleasure to be with you at any time.
My
and
friend.
For anybody in your office that needs me.
I appreciate you, Bill.
Go to my website. There's a place there. You can ask me a question on my nickel, not yours. There's a place that you can download a book that'll help you. You can enter something that won't cost you anything. But what will happen is after you've had a few of those lessons, you're going to see I'm the real deal.
Yeah. Hey, y'all, come talk to Papa Gammon here. He 50 years of experience. And listen, Bill, I love you to death because you have the aura of this sweet, Papa, right? But then also you talk like you talk like someone who's out here on the streets right now and like a millennial in the way that you bring things to the table. Because it's principle based. You're just a loving, beautiful soul who wants to give back, but you have the knowledge and expertise of the 50 years in executive levels that you've been at. You're just such a gem, a unique opportunity. I'm just really grateful to have you on. We'll definitely be reaching out for some more stories. I promise. I got some ideas already that I'm gonna hit you up with a little later on. Okay.
Great. I'm open to ideas from you or from anyone because
that's right.
The way we all get better is we share ideas and we work together to crystallize them and bring them into reality.
I love it. I love it, Bill. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for being here and for joining us. I'm sure you got a kick out of this as much as I did and took some value away as well. I'll put all Bill's notes in the notes down here. You know where to do. Don't forget to give us 5 stars and subscribe to the podcast, y'all. We are Leads to Growth in the National Association of Sales Professionals. Lots of new things coming up here. Keep your ears out and your eyes open, y'all. We're making some big moves here in this sales world, and we're looking to support you in any way we can. Have a great day, y'all. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Hey, y'all, you might have heard me mention the belief model today in our podcast interview. Well, the belief model is one of the core models that we use in our certification training, CPSP and CPSL and our CMSP. The belief model basically starts with everything that you do. All the results that you get start with your beliefs, right? What you believe determines your capability. What you believe determines the strategies that you choose or even able to see. And ultimately, your beliefs determine your results. A great example of this is the 4-minute mile, right? Bannister, nobody ran the 4-minute mile in the history of the measuring time and running the mile. Nobody's ever run a 4-minute mile until Bannister did it. And then once he did it, what happened? Well, first off, let's remember that he wasn't even a runner. He was a psychologist, right? So he knew that beliefs determine this, and he believed that he could do more by believing he could do more. And once he did this, once he broke this record, it happened 6 more times within the next year, right? So this idea that your beliefs determine your results is scientifically proven out there. And what happens is when you look at your results, if you're not getting the results that you want, it's a good way to assess that is go assess your beliefs. What do I believe about my company? What do I believe about my capability? What do I believe about the opportunity, the market? What do I believe about my prospects, my leads, my context, my sales process? What do I believe about these things? Not only take the time to ask the question, but take the time to answer them. And then decide what you need to believe. Here's what I believe, and here's what I need to believe. Yes, now it takes conditioning. It takes building new habits of belief to change these old patterns of belief, right? This is where the work comes in. This is why the certifications are so good. But the idea is that you don't have to believe what you believe now. You can believe whatever you choose to believe. You just have to go through the work of unwrapping the beliefs, choosing the new beliefs, and then conditioning the habits to that change. But once you have those new habits of belief, once you believe more is possible, you'll start to see your capability increases. Your strategies you choose are different than the ones you chose before, and the results start to increase, right? So you go back and you adjust your beliefs and you increase your beliefs. And the only way, as Napoleon Hill says, is the only way to have a greater belief where you don't currently is through constant repetition of an affirmation. This takes time and practice, right? But this is what the model says. This is the psychology behind it all. So whenever you're not getting the results you want, I guarantee you, I promise you, it all starts with your beliefs. You want to change those, check out our certification, CPSP, CPSL, and the CMSP at NASP.com. You know where to see them.